Hi students, so we'll move on to the next topic in module 5, right? So in the last lecture we have seen what is Faraday's law, and we have seen three different cases also, right? That is the varying loop and varying magnetic field, varying loop and constant magnetic field, right? And constant magnetic field and varying magnetic field. Those cases we have seen in Faraday's law, and we have seen the equations also, right? So now we have seen what is Faraday's law in the previous lecture. Now in today's class we'll see what is displacement current. What is displacement current, and we'll see what is Maxwell's equation for static and time varying fields. So static fields we have already discussed earlier. So Maxwell's equation, whatever table I showed you in the previous lectures, so that is for static. So in today's lecture we'll see what is Maxwell's equation for time varying fields, right? And in the next lecture we'll see what is Poynting theorem and wave power. Actually this comes later, that is in wave equations. So Poynting theorem will be dealt at the last. So from the next lecture we'll start with wave equations, right? So now, so today's lecture is about displacement current. So we'll see what is displacement current. So for static electromagnetic fields, we recall that curl of H is equal to J vector. What is this equation? This equation we have derived from Ampere's circuital law, if you remember, right? Curl of H vector is equal to J. This is from Ampere's circuital law. Now in a vector calculus there is a rule, or there is a law, that divergence of any curl of a vector is equal to 0. So here we have curl of H vector. If you take divergence of this one, if you take divergence of this curl, the answer will be 0, right? So what we'll do, you take this equation, you take curl on both the sides, sorry, divergence on both the sides. So what do you get? Taking divergence on both the sides, we get divergence of curl of H vector will be equal to divergence of J vector, divergence of J vector. So this part, that is divergence of curl of H vector, will be equal to 0. Hence, divergence of J vector also will be equal to 0 here. So this is a statement: divergence of curl of any vector field is identically 0, right? So now we'll move to the next part. Now this is from continuity equation. When we discussed third module, we saw what is continuity equation in point form. So divergence of J vector is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t, which is not equal to 0, right? Here we got divergence J is equal to 0, but here according to continuity equation, divergence of J vector should not be equal to 0. So what we'll do, even if I take the divergence of curl of H vector, this part should not be 0, that is divergence of J vector should not be 0. So what we'll do, we'll modify this equation. I'll erase those things, one second. Yes, so I'll tell you once more, that is from Ampere circuital law we have curl of H vector is equal to J, but when you take divergence on both the sides, we get divergence of curl of H vector is equal to 0, which is nothing but divergence of J vector also is 0. But we have divergence of J vector is equal to minus rho v by dou rho v by dou t, which should not be equal to 0. So since we have to prove that, we'll take one more term here, that is plus JD. I'll take one more term here, plus JD, right? We'll see what is at JD later. Now what happens, now if I take the curl on both the sides, sorry, divergence on both the sides, what will I get? I'll get this equation, that is this equation, right? So I've taken curl of H vector is equal, instead of only J, I've taken J plus JD. Now I'll get divergence of curl of H vector, which is equal to 0, which is equal to divergence of J vector plus divergence of JD. Now what happens? We have divergence of J vector plus divergence of JD. So if I take only this part, so what will happen to JD? Divergence of JD will be equal to minus divergence of J. That is what is written here, Now what is divergence of J? That is minus dou rho v by dou t. So minus divergence of J vector can be written as rho dou rho v by dou t, which is equal to, what is rho v? In electrostatics, when we discussed, it is nothing but divergence of D vector. So that is substituted here. So on the whole, how can we write? So this del can be taken out and dou by dou t can be taken inside. So it is nothing but, this equation can be written as divergence of dou, dou d by dou t. Divergence of dou d by dou t. So now what is the equation we got? So what is the equation for JD here? Here we have divergence. Here also we have divergence. So neglecting divergence on both the sides, we get JD is equal to dou D by dou T. So that is what is written here. That is JD is equal to dou D by dou T. Right. So now this JD is nothing but, this JD whatever we considered for disproving divergence of J is equal to, is equal to 0, we took one more term called plus JD. So that JD, it turned out to be dou D vector by dt, right, or dou T. So that is, this is dou actually, dou T. So this JD is nothing but displacement current density, right? So now when I substitute it here, what happens? That is, when I substitute JD in this equation, if I substitute what is JD, curl of H vector, that is curl of H vector is equal to J, that is current density, plus JD. JD is nothing but dou D by dou T. So dou D by dou T is substituted here. So hereafter, whatever we had from Ampere's circular law was only curl of H vector is equal to J, but for time varying fields, curl of H vector is nothing but J plus dou D by dou T. So this dou D by dou T is nothing but displacement current density. So now, yeah, we got curl of H vector is equal to J plus dou D by dou T. So this is nothing but JD, which is displacement current density, right? So this is Maxwell's equation based on Ampere's circuital law, right? For the time varying field, that is important. For the steady field, we will not have this term. We'll have only curl of H vector is equal to J. But for time varying fields, you have to consider this one also, right? The term JD is equal to dou D by dou T is known as displacement current density. This is important. And J is nothing but conduction current, that is J is equal to sigma E. This we discussed when we discussed Ohm's law in third module, right? And this JD will be absent in low frequencies. This JD will not be present in low frequencies. So curl of H vector will be equal to only J. But for other than low frequencies, this JD will be present, right? So based on the displacement current density, we define displacement current as, now displacement current density we know, that is JD is equal to dou D by dou T. From this we have to derive what is displacement current. Now how can I write current? How is current and current density related? I'll do this small derivation here. So when we have J can be written as current by surface, right? Now if I take differentiation on both the sides, I can write this as di by ds. So if I want I here, then it will be di is equal to j into ds, right? So if I want to find I will be equal to surface integral of j ds. This is general equation for current density. Now we are speaking about displacement current. So I'll write I suffix d. So this becomes j suffix d. Right. Now what is JD? JD is nothing but dou D by dou T. So this JD is substituted here as dou D by dou T into ds. So this is the equation for displacement current. Now read this one. We must bear in mind that displacement current is a result of time varying electric field. As I told you, when we consider only steady state problems, this dou D by dou T will not be there. That is, displacement current density will be absent. but this will be present only for time varying fields. This is present only for time varying electric fields. A typical example of such current is the current through a capacitor when an alternating voltage source is applied to its plates, right? This example is shown in the figure. I'll show you the figure in the next slide. Serves to illustrate the need of displacement current, right? Applying an unmodified form of Ampere circuital law to the closed path L shown in the figure gives. Now just see this figure. Here we have a circuit where we have a wire which is connected to the capacitor, and the current flowing through this wire is I, right? We are considering two cases here. So this is only by applying Ampere circuital law, right? This is by only applying Ampere circuital law we'll get this kind of loop, right? This kind of loop will get. So there is no problem in solving such problems. Now what if the surface taken is of this form? The surface taken is of balloon shaped this form. What happens here? You watch here clearly. This surface is passing through two plates of capacitor. Two plates of capacitor. As you all know, between the capacitor there will be a dielectric, right? We cannot call that as conduction current, correct? It will be convection current, if you remember, right? Conduction current will be zero between these two plates. Now for the first case, that is for this figure, consider this equation. Now h closed integral of h vector dot dl vector should be equal to I, and here we are applying that this I can be written as j dot ds. This is for surface 1. Surface 1 is this one, right? So the current flowing through that is I, or I enclosed. So I think you have understood this one. This we have discussed when we discussed Ampere circuital law also. Now the only difference is, instead of taking a surface like this, if I take the balloon shaped surface, what happens? This surface, the current flowing through this surface will be equal to 0, because there is no conduction between, there is no actual conduction between two plates of a capacitor. The conduction current will be 0. Therefore the same equation, if I take it for S2, if I take equation for S2, the I enclosed will be equal to 0, right? But actually there is some current which is flowing I here, and there is some other current which is, I mean, the same current is flowing back here also. But how can we say that there is no current flow through the capacitor here? This is where the conduction current comes into picture, right? Because no conduction, J is equal to 0, flows through S2. This is contradictory in view of the fact that the same closed path L is used. Here both has the same closed path L. To resolve this conflict, we need to include the displacement current in Ampere circuital law. We have to include displacement current in Ampere circuital law. So the total current density will be taken as J plus JD, right? So in equation, when JD is equal to 0, so that the equation remains valid. And in equation, in this equation, if I take JD as 0, right? If I take JD as 0, because we have taken the surface flat, so there is no displacement current here. So if JD is 0, this is the equation what we get. But here we are taking in this capacitor, we are taking the balloon shaped surface. The surface is exactly passing through the plates of capacitor. So there will be convection current, right? It is not conduction current. So we have taken the current to be 0, right? So here we have to include the term JD. So if we include that term JD, what happens? Here, this is for S2. This is for S2. So now H vector dot dl is equal to S2, and here J was 0, right? Here J was 0. So J cannot be 0, because here the current is flowing. The same current is flowing here. So this current density will be replaced by JD. So JD dot ds, which is equal to d by dt of d dot ds. How did we get this equation? What was JD? JD was equal to dou d vector by dou t. Correct. So now we have integration here for S2 over S2. Now if I take integration here with respect, I mean, this is with respect to ds. right? And here also if I integrate this with respect to S2 with dot ds, and if I take this dou by dou t outside, dou by dou t outside, it will become d by dt. So it will become d by dt, it will become d by dt S2 d vector dot ds vector, d vector dot ds vector. This S also is a vector. So that is how we got this equation from here to here, right? Now closed integral of d vector dot ds vector is nothing but the total charge enclosed, correct? From Gauss law, we have the surface integral of d vector dot ds vector should give the total charge enclosed in that surface. So we have d by dt also. This whole thing can be written as q. So in the next part we can write that as dq by dt. So dq by dt, rate of change of charges with respect to time, is nothing but current, right? So here when we took JDE for the second case, that is this one, when we took the current density as JD, because J was 0, we got the answer to be I itself, current I itself. So it is very important to consider JD also, right? If it is steady state cases, this JD will be 0, so there is no problem. If it is time varying fields, you have to consider this JD, right? Or else whatever equations you are using will be wrong, right? So we obtain the same current for the either surface, although it is conduction current in S1 and displacement current in S2. I hope you have understood what is displacement current now, right? So this is all about displacement current. Now we'll move on to the next part. So whatever Maxwell's equation I had given you in the previous lectures, just compare that also. That is only for steady state, right? So here what we have, the first one, that is divergence of d vector is equal to rho v, and this is Gauss law, right? And here divergence of b vector is equal to 0. There is no change with respect to these two when you consider steady state and the other one. But here when you take curl of E vector, for the steady state it was 0. But here we got minus dou b by dou t. This is Faraday's law, which we discussed in the previous lecture, right? Over a closed integral, E vector dot dl vector was 0, right? But here we have some other value, that is minus dou b by dou t, and here we have minus dou by dou t integral of b dot ds. So this we had discussed in Faraday's law yesterday, in the last class, right? And the last case what we discussed now, that is for we have to consider that JD part. Here this is that JD what we considered. If you consider steady state Ampere's law, we'll have only curl of H vector is equal to J. This is only this you'll have for steady state, but when you take time varying fields, you have to consider this dou d by dou t also. The same thing is written in the integral form. So this is Ampere's circuital law. Now what you have to remember is Maxwell's equations are two sets. One is for steady state and other one is for time varying fields. So for time varying fields, you have to write these equations. I hope you have understood this one, right? So in the next lecture, we'll discuss about wave equations. That is next part of this module, right? So I hope you have understood this lecture, right? Thank you.